Ever find yourself daydreaming? Thinking what if about stuff that isn't quite real? Well, today we're going to talk about the exact English tool you need for that. It's called the second conditional, and it's all about turning those big ideas into actual sentences. And it all kicks off with that tiny, super powerful word, if.
All right, let's just jump right in with a fun one. If you had a time machine, where would you go? Seriously, think about it for a sec. Are you headed to the past? The future? Who's the first person you'd want to meet?
So maybe you're thinking, I'd meet the Queen of England, or I'd travel all over the world, or maybe, heck, I'd buy a Ferrari. Whatever popped into your head, that sentence structure you just used, well, that's exactly what we're talking about today. It's a special little piece of English grammar.
Yep, we are talking about the second conditional. I love calling it the imagination engine of English, because that's exactly what it is. It's the grammar that powers all our daydreams and all those what-if moments.
So here's the key thing to remember. The second conditional is for stuff that's unreal. It's for things that are unlikely or maybe even impossible, either right now or in the future. We're talking pure hypotheticals here, not real plans.
Okay, so how do we actually build this thing, this imagination engine? Well, the best part is it follows a super simple and really consistent formula. Once you get the recipe down, you can cook up as many of these sentences as you want.
And here it is. It's a two-part deal. You've got your if part, and for that, you use the past simple. Then you've got the result part, and for that, you use would plus the main verb. So it's if plus past simple, then would plus verb. Simple as that. Let's look at a classic example. If I won the lottery. See? If plus won, that's a past simple of win. And the result? I would buy a big house. There's your would plus the verb buy. Winning the lottery? Yeah, that's a dream, right? An unlikely future. So this formula is just perfect for it. Now, what's really cool is that this structure is super flexible. You can actually flip the two parts around and the meaning stays exactly the same. The only catch, if you start with if, you need a comma in the middle. If you start with the would part, no comma needed. It's a tiny detail, but it's a good one to know. All right, and here's the one big, kind of weird exception you just have to remember. When you're giving someone advice, you always say, if I were you. I know, it feels a little strange, right? I were? But trust me, that's the rule. It's just a set phrase we use. If I were you, I'd. It's your classic setup for giving advice. Okay, so we've got the formula down, but when do you actually use this in a real conversation? Well, it pretty much boils down to two main situations. So first up, imagining a dream. We're talking about future stuff that's, well, probably not going to happen. And the second one is for talking about an impossible present. You know, how things would be different right now if something that's true wasn't. So let's look at that first one, the dream. She would travel all over the world if she were rich. The reality? She's not rich. So traveling the world is just a hypothetical idea, a dream, which makes it a perfect time to use the second conditional. And here's that second case, the impossible present. If I had his number, I would call him. What's the real situation? I don't have his number, so it's impossible for me to call him right now. The sentence is imagining a different present, a world where I do have his number, to explain why I'm not calling. Okay, this next part is super important because it's where a lot of people get mixed up. What is the actual difference between the first and second conditional? I mean, they both use if, right? But they are talking about totally different levels of reality. This comparison here just lays it all out perfectly. The first conditional, that's for a real possibility. If I have enough money, I'll buy some new shoes. That could actually happen this weekend. But the second conditional, that's for the dream. If I had enough money, I'd buy a house with a swimming pool. That's a much bigger, much more unlikely scenario. It's basically the difference between a real plan and a daydream. Okay, you've seen how it's built, when to use it, and how it's different from the first conditional. All that theory is great, but, practice is what makes it stick. So let's try a few of these together. All right, first one up. How would you finish this sentence? Give it a shot. Remember the formula, if plus past simple, and then would plus the verb. And there it is. If they offered me the job, I would take it. Offered is the past simple, and would take is the result. You nailed it! Awesome! Okay, let's try another one.
Check this out. We flipped the order and there's a negative in there. How do you handle that?
Perfect. The past simple negative is didn't throw. So, the city would look more beautiful if people didn't throw rubbish on the streets. See? The formula works perfectly, no matter which way you slice it. And how about one last one for the road? We've got a classic irregular verb in here, go. What's the past simple of go? You got it. It's went. If Gary went to bed earlier, he wouldn't feel so tired. And this is a perfect example of that impossible present we talked about. The reality is, Gary doesn't go to bed earlier. We're just imagining a better reality for poor tired Gary. So, there you have it. You now officially have the keys to the imagination engine. And remember, this isn't just some boring grammar rule. It's a tool. It's how you talk about your wildest dreams, how you give really good advice, and how you can just imagine a whole different world. So let's end with a big question, using the exact grammar we've been working on. Think about it for a second. If you could give your younger self just one piece of advice, what would it be?